The Scythe is an incredibly powerful weapon to build your loadout around. Do not sleep on this weapon, folks. The pinpoint accuracy, steady damage output, and fire effects that it applies make this weapon an absolute powerhouse. With the addition of the high capacity heatsink, this drastically improves the weapon, folks, and I genuinely think it's one of the biggest winners at the moment against not just bots, but all factions. You're looking at a 50% increase to capacity, which means we're no longer living in fear of hitting our heat limit when facing the oncoming tide. Given how this thing performs against lesser enemies in the bot ranks, commissars and general trash mobs, it's incredibly easy to spread fire and destruction across the masses, dropping a surprisingly large number actually very swiftly. Another massive plus for the Scythe is that it also works extremely well against Devastators and Berserkers, especially when you are pinpoint accurate with their weak spots. The weapon itself makes incredibly short work of the vast majority of smaller Terminid swarm threats with ease. Hunters, smallies are obviously a breeze. Warriors get absolutely clapped, and Hive Guards, when you melt their non-armored sections, they go down very quickly. You can even do decent work to Alpha Commanders. Shriekers are also in trouble when you put the beam anywhere near them. This sets them on fire, so you can rest easy with the Scythe at your disposal. It makes incredibly short work of Voteless, disintegrating hordes of them rapidly. Unlike other primary weapons, this requires specific considerations when playing with it and building a loadout around it to get the most value. Your choice of support weapon and playstyle will matter significantly. The laser cannon works really well on flesh mobs and tripods, for example, so make sure you're switching in and out with that. The core idea is really simple, folks. Juggle the Scythe and the laser cannon to prevent either weapon from overheating. The most favourable way to use this technique is to open with the laser cannon and wait until the last moment before the overheat, then switch to the Scythe and do exactly the same thing. Switch back to your cooled laser cannon and rinse repeat the process. You can literally do this indefinitely if you play your cards right. Assess your situation before every rotation and pick your targets accordingly. If you have a Bile Titan pressing you and no one else around to help, you're going to need to try and take that down quickly. Open with the LC on large incoming waves, then switch to the Scythe to mop up, and once the overheat kicks in, keep rotating. The LC can take down bigger threats like hulks, missile tanks, and of course knocking out turrets and other threatening automaton installations. And gunships absolutely hate this thing, so you'll really be on the front foot using this combo whilst using the Scythe to clean up smallies. If you play this setup right, you can cycle between them indefinitely. We also have stratagems at our disposal to help with this, which I'll go over in a moment, and the same technique goes for chargers and impalers. Focus these down when required, but where this is at its best and its most fun is when you are facing large swarm compositions. Focus on spreading the laser cannon fire damage and the Scythe fire damage proc around as much as possible, but pay attention to Alpha Commanders and Hive Guards. Your laser cannon will do much of the heavy lifting here in comparison to the Scythe, and once you've played a few rounds with this combo, you will quickly get comfortable with what to prioritize. It is incredibly fun, and you can do so much damage with this combo. To fully lock down a breach and the bug scum, throw a Gatling sentry to really turn the screw on them. The amount of throughput we now have at our disposal is absolutely swarm shattering. Literally, you can solo large breaches on your own with this combination. Just make sure the sentry doesn't swing round and take you out. We will of course be bringing the 500 kg along to use when we're being overwhelmed, or, and this is where its best use is, needing to take out multiple large targets, or baiting a Bile Titan spit and throwing that down so it wipes it out. It's excellent for clearing biles, impalers and chargers. Just make sure you use it selectively and don't get caught out with it on a cooldown. Some people might prefer to switch out the Gatling sentry and take the orbital precision strike, the low cooldown and the ability to take out Bile Titans, chargers, impalers, all that good stuff. Is just a really nice thing to have. You bait the bile and then you throw the OPS down and watch it melt. Being swarmed by Terminids in Helldivers 2, where every shot counts and your survival depends on split secondary actions, you need a mouse that's fast and precise, and that's why I use the Razer Death Adder V4 Pro. At just 56 grams, it's ultra light, so my hand stays nimble,
and fatigue-free through intense firefights.
Its Focus Pro 45K sensor tracks every tiny twitch with pinpoint precision up to a staggering 45,000 DPI, so I'm always aiming exactly where I want. With Razer Hyperspeed Wireless Gen 2, I get near zero input lag. That means what I do with the mouse instantly happens on the screen with no delays, no excuses. The Gen 4 switches give satisfying, reliable clicks rated for 100 million presses, perfect for those moments when rapid fire accuracy is a must.
Ergonomically, it's shaped for right-handed players and it fits comfortably in my hand even during long play sessions when things are getting hectic.
If you want a mouse that keeps the pace with your fight for Super Earth, check the link in the description. The Scorcher is absolutely cracked against bugs as well, with its savage damage output, rapid rate of fire and respectable ammo pool, coupled with the ability to shoot out charger weak spots very swiftly. You get an incredible punchy bang for your buck primary weapon. That is where the Scorcher truly shines, folks. Its ability to terrorize the more frightening illuminate enemies that usually cause problems with other primary weapons such as the flesh mob and the variety of different overseers. If you combine this weapon with the supply pack, you have the ability to become perhaps one of the most feared Helldivers the squids have ever faced. Its fire rate is incredible, and once you have the foregrip unlocked, your control over this weapon makes it so easy to place pinpoint accurate volleys into any type of enemy. The way it deals with stingrays, with its impressive fire rate that allows it to mag dump into the fuselage of these annoying crafts, is nothing short of fantastic. Just take a look at how effortlessly this weapon can deal with these. I'd actually say that this is easier to use against stingrays than the Eruptor, which once again makes it an awesome pairing with any other useful support weapon. It isn't the best at dealing with harvesters, but due to its sustained damage output, it does some very respectable damage to assist with these menacing tripods and taking them down swiftly. With 200 damage per shot, explosive damage, and can do serious work against all bot infantry, providing excellent mop-up or primary initiation technique against packs. The Scorcher HMG can carve through automaton enemies incredibly quick with its AP4 attribute. It can smash through a Scout Strider front plate in around 7 shots and 2 to 3 on its axle region, which is quite impressive. Moving on to Devastators, this is incredibly good news. Devastators can be one-shotted with a headshot and can be taken down in, I think it's around 3 to 4 shots based on whether you're hitting limbs or the chest area. Hordes of Berserkers melt against this thing, and whilst I haven't tested it precisely, I believe it can be dropped in around 7 to 8 shots to any body part and cleaned out completely with 2 headshots. It also deals with gunships with some well-placed shots to the thrusters, which I believe is around the 10 to 11 shot mark. The challenge here is actually landing the shots. Hulks and tanks and mortars and anything with a back vent can be dealt with very swiftly if you can get round the back with a high RPM setting and dump as many bullets in there as possible. But the real finesse comes with trying to shoot Hulks in their eye. I believe it takes 4 shots. This can be a little bit inconsistent, not because of the damage it takes, just because it is so annoyingly difficult to land it at times right in that eyeball. So make sure that you are prepared for that, folks. I would actually say perhaps using stratagems is probably a better choice here, but there you go. Couple this with the Scorcher. I had an absolute blast running this with the MG43. This thing can even dispose of Bile Titans if you find yourself in a pinch and you're prepared to use a lot of the ammo. Not ideal, but a nice option to have when needs be. The MG43 and the Stalwart have both really impressed me when loadout testing, and I know there's a large divide between which one is better. In my opinion, both are absolutely cracked, and it's more of a choice of what's your favourite flavour. Do you like to be able to be more mobile and quick on the reloads whilst relishing the opportunity to spray down hordes of chaff with ease? Then in that case, the Stalwart with its light armour pen and better ergonomics will be the go-to. However, if you prefer medium armor pen with the ability to absolutely shred alpha commanders, bile spewers, and even do decent work to charge and weak spots, then the MG43 will be the way to go. Just make sure you couple these with decent primaries. I find these both work particularly well with any CC focus primary, or the Scorcher goes absolutely fantastically well with the Stalwart to compensate for the lack of medium pen. Just make sure you turn both onto maximum RPM for the ultimate bullet hell experience. And a little side comment to mention, if you want to have loads of fun, then bring the GAT Sentry and the normal Rover together. It is all the machine gun choices together here for a fine choice for support weaponry against the Calamari scumbags. The choice here is really yours to make, folks. Grab the Stalwart on maximum RPM, and you can put out a lot of damage with the added bonus that you will have no penalty for reloading. The drawback here is that your support weapon cannot really deal with harvesters effectively other than taking the shields off fast. Therefore, the MG43 and the MG206 may be more to your liking in that regard. You have the same excellent performance against flesh mobs in the rotation that was just mentioned, and you are able to put down harvesters and stingrays minus having the ability to reload on the move. If you want the ultimate pairing to your primary choice to rip through all of the Illuminate's old and new units and ensure that any weaknesses are fully covered, the HMG 206 is back and in full effect. This monster makes incredibly short work of stingrays and harvesters and does very admirable work against the flesh mob. Slap some peak physique armor if you struggle with aiming, but if you get savvy with this weapon, it's not necessary, folks. Slow down the fire rate if you need to, but of course, if you really want to put this to the maximum of its potential, then you need maximum RPM for the fastest and most devastating results. So check out this next video. It's got you covered. Take care of yourselves, keep having fun, come check out a stream on YouTube or Twitch, and I'll see you in the next one.